Hi, this is Gary Perot. We are live now on Facebook. I am talking to a buddy of mine, Bill Gross. And Bill Gross, I met him at a local networking group with a friend of ours, Steve Love, who met at the Sizzler in Van Nuys in northern Los Angeles. And we had a lot of good interactions there. And the first thing that I noticed about Bill is just his knowledge and his integrity. And one of his areas of vast knowledge is in probates. And I think that'll come out during this interview. And also just a very family-oriented guy, very serious about helping other people too with their investments. That's a thing I noticed is he's always giving more information than and open to helping people. So Bill, that's one thing I've always appreciated about you. I guess you're a local guy, right?
I am. I was born in Santa Monica and I was raised in North Orange County, went to college at USC, lived in the South Bay, spent 2 years of my life in Florida, but otherwise all in Southern California, all within an hour's radius of the USC campus.
Well, you got farther away than I did. The farthest away I got was Santa Barbara for 6 years while I popped a couple of degrees out up there. But yeah, we're both local guys.
Yep.
So that's awesome. Now, you have several ways in your business that you generate passive income, right?
Yeah, I think my focus more than just passive is recurring residual income.
Okay.
And
what's the difference?
I think when I think of passive income, I feel that's more like just pure checkbook money, which is nice. And residual is more that requires a little bit of attention, but I find can also be a little bit more money monthly than just the complete passive.
Great. Well, I forgot to talk. I was talking about, so interested in talking about you, Bill. I forgot to talk about myself. That's what I focus on is both residual and passive income. It's all about cash flow. And that's, as professor of cash flow, that's what I specialize in. And I really like inviting people onto this show that know how to help people generate passive or residual income, so that you do something once and then you don't have to keep making the money. You don't have to keep trading time for money. But why is passive income so important to you? What got you interested in it?
Well, I think that the only way to grow is either work more hours or get more productivity per hour that you work. And if I can create a system and set it on either autopilot or close to autopilot, then I can go do something else at the same time, and I can have 2 or 3 things running at once. And so I think of it as a way to duplicate myself. And again, my focus has not been on 100% duplication, but maybe 95% duplication. And I kind of stay involved, but I find I can get a little bit of revenue by paying attention to details and prolonging the run of the revenue.
I see a lot of very successful people who work lots of hours and they're trying to get paid more and more for every hour that they work. So in a sense, they're scaling, but their scaling is limited by their mindset. Why do you think it's so hard for people to grasp the idea that we're talking about here?
Well, I don't think it's taught anywhere. And, if you copy other people, you copy your parents, you copy your first couple of bosses, most people aren't doing it correctly. And I know for me, there are a couple eye-opening books and eye-opening lectures and people in my life who helped me understand that entrepreneurship is not about, the goal of long-term income is not about working harder or more hours. It's really the opposite. It's working maybe less hours or the same and getting more revenue per hour that you work. And I'm not against putting in a good effort. I like to. I feel vibrant and I like to participate. But it's nice to be able to, if I didn't want to work, to still have revenue coming in. And so that gives you the freedom to make some choices.
Right. Well, I have a T-shirt from Ron LeGrand, a name with which I'm sure you're familiar. He has a T-shirt that says, "The less I work, the more I make." So I kind of like the concept.
Well, I mean, obviously, that's a simplification of a complicated process, but
Right.
that's the goal. And I think as long as you understand that's the goal, then you measure yourself working towards that, as opposed to confusing. It's just about the gross sales, and that can be a rat trap if you're focused on the wrong goal.
Mhm. Well, you're a hard worker, and I know that. You're a realtor with EXP, I believe, and
Mhm.
don't they have a plan that allows you to create residual income through their pay structure?
So definitely, they add a couple additional ways to make money that I think too are unique as far as long-term wealth and residual income. And one is the idea that you get paid based on people you bring to the company. People involved in multi-level marketing will recognize that process, but it's a way to really, in real estate, it's a little different in that we're really monetizing what normally happens in our business. Me as a real estate agent, when I'm a listing agent, it's natural for buyers agents to call me and ingratiate themselves to me to try to get me to accept their buyer on the transaction. And it
Mhm.
gives me the opportunity to help them, coach them, support them, and then maybe introduce them to our system that creates continuing income for me, or I can introduce to them the opportunity of continuous income for them.
Well, you are a great coach, Bill. I think you actually had a bona fide coaching business there for a while, but since that was not really scalable, is that why you kind of let that one pass away, or are you
No,
still coaching?
I actually am still a partner in a coaching business. I don't run it under my brand. I think that was a thing I discovered, that I didn't want to be the brand of the company. And second, I didn't want to make that my focus of the coaching company, because I think if you're a coaching company, you have to. It's kind of like if you're a restaurant, you have to pretty much serve whoever comes in your restaurant. Well, I don't think you care so much in a restaurant if they're eating too much or too little. But in coaching, it was frustrating to me that I'm paying customers who wouldn't do what they're supposed to do. And
Right.
I just didn't enjoy it. And I think if you don't feel the passion for what you're doing, you're not going to do it really well. So I to this day still am a partner in a coaching business. It's not my brand. I no longer market the billgrosscoaching.com platform, but I do coach every day. I coach realtors and how to help their business. I help investors and wholesalers to help their business. I do that every day.
Well, I've seen you help other investors.
Yeah.
You've helped me. I remember the afternoon or the time we spent down at the LA courts looking into the probate process back when they were letting people do that.
Right.
But what's the main way that you help investors create passive income?
Well, I think um, if you talk about there's new investors and then there's established investors. So I think the area that I am particularly gifted at is helping new or newer investors get started,
Uh-huh.
or if they've done a deal or two, to help them create it into a business rather than a one or two off kind of thing. And what the path I always try to take is I start with mindset, because you first have to have the right mindset for any business, and then from
Right.
there, introduce them to a process or two, and then from there, it's about accountability and execution. So with investors, I try to explain to them that while you can make a lot of money and you may end up owning a yacht and floating around the Caribbean, odds are you're going to have to work pretty hard to get to that level. And so I'm encouraging people to put the time in to research properties, research their area, research their niche. And so part of it's mindset. And then once they get past that, it's maybe helping them with their particular plan. And people come to me with different. Real estate is a very broad industry. I've seen most of it. And so people come to me with a particular niche. I've seen people who are successful in that niche. I try to help them put a plan together of what's going to work and not going to work. I'm not selling any system. I'm really just there to try to help them be successful.
Well, I've seen you do that with me, Bill. I mean, I'm a note investor, and we were meeting at our meetings, and
Yeah.
and you just reached out to me and started asking me questions one time about how we might be able to work together. And we're in the process of creating a whole niche market based upon what you know and what I know,
Right.
and it's just been a great process. So I really appreciate
Thanks.
that about you.
Thanks. I think I've been in the business for quite a while, and I think that one of the things I look for is synergies. I
Right.
think that it's one thing to go into a business, nothing wrong with it, But at this stage of my career, I have a Rolodex of people who know me and like me and trust me and do business with me. And if I find somebody else, I try to find, well, where in my Rolodex is there some overlap that we can work together and create some quick wins. And I also am a firm believer in, you get one deal done and you learn a lot from it, and you can iterate and do a second or third more easily. The first deal is usually by far the hardest. So I try to can we do something quickly? Is there an easy deal here to get done? And then once you do one, you can do a second, third, and then that's what often leads to a business.
Interesting. And that seems a bit unique. Do you feel like that's kind of like your unique calling?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we all see big business people who are successful, Grant Cardone or Tony Robbins, or there's the guys on what's the program I'm thinking of where they pitch their product, Mark Cuban and those guys. Yeah, and so yeah, of course we all dream about hitting one big product, but at the same time, I've been able to patch together, I think, 2 or 3 things that are doing well, and I think sometimes solid singles and like in baseball, moving the runner along and not getting out helps you stay in the game and helps you grow and participate. So I'd say I tend to look for those opportunities more quickly than most people do.
Interesting. Now, we're still here in the middle of this whole COVID mess.
We are?
What? Well, this is going to be on YouTube, and eventually people are going to be looking at it and say, "COVID, what's that?" But
right.
Do you have any concerns about, say, holding rentals during COVID when you've got investors who are coming in? As a realtor, you might have an investor coming in to buy rental property. What are your concerns along those lines?
Yeah, well, there's my concerns, and then there's also, legal restrictions of what we're allowed to do and not do. And so, because I live in Los Angeles, I'm real concerned about the rental market here this coming year for a lot of reasons. And so I really don't play in the rental market much. Just not to say you can't make money at it. It's just I haven't seen a way that excites me, and I see some icebergs out there that I'm a little concerned about. So I don't do a lot. I don't do rental properties really. I'll sell some rental property, but I don't do property management. I know people who do, and frankly, I host my own Zoom call on Tuesdays that's real estate investment focused, and one of my regular partners in that call has a professional property management company. And I would say leave it to the professionals, because there's certain laws and restrictions and procedures you have to follow. And so I don't really get involved in showing properties or they're tenant occupied. For sale, I do, but not for rental.
Right. Yeah, I kind of like the Airbnb market, but now that's being regulated. So it's when they start regulating things, that makes things a little bit scary.
Right.
What about this COVID thing? Is there going to be you think there's going to be an opportunity for investors down the road as maybe some landlords have run into trouble and need to shed some of their properties?
There's always opportunity. The question is, where is it? And on the upswing, there's types of opportunities, and on the downswing, there's difference. And on the transition is the best opportunity, paying attention to those transitions. Real estate's a very micro geographical business. And so it's really important to pay attention to your particular market and your particular product mix and see those transitions, the market getting better or worse. In some areas in residential property right now, it's gotten hotter, if you can believe it, than it was a month or 2 or 3 ago. In other areas, it's definitely cooling off. And so to answer your question, I've been in this, I say this almost every day. I've been in business since 1986 in real estate. I've never seen a better time for investors to make money than right now. Not even close. There's more money available. There's more opportunities available in front of the average person than ever before. The challenge is keeping your mindset focused on that and understanding that somebody's buying, that means somebody's sold. If somebody's selling, that means somebody is going to buy. So your job is to get in the middle and either, if you're a wholesale investor, flip it, or if you're a long-term buy and hold investor, get on the right side of that and buy it at the right price.
Well, uh, the thing I really like about real estate is that it's such a great market, a great area for generating, passive income, residual income, and rental properties is just one way. What are some of the other ways that real estate investors can utilize assets to create residual income?
So there's various ways to invest in real estate. The ones, when you say real estate investor, the most common I find are people who want to wholesale or flip properties. And the ones that do that professionally, I always ask them this question: how many properties do you look at to buy one? And the number universally used to be 100. They look at 100 deals, maybe on an email or paper or something, and they'd run numbers in about 15, and then they go look at 3 to 5, and they'd buy one. And today, if the market is much tougher, when people say that, you could just translate that into numbers and say, well, maybe you have to look at 150 instead of 100. It's 50% harder, okay? You have to look at 50% more properties. The challenge is if you only make money when you buy one, that's a lot of work for one deal. And so the investors that I see who are buying a property also probably wholesale 2 or 3. Maybe they do a note deal, with you or something on 2 or 3 that they wouldn't buy it, but there's an alternate way to leverage their time by making some passive income. So I try to help investors understand that you want to kind of build a team, and then if you feed your team, sometimes that's as good as getting a deal. For me, to refer a customer to an attorney I work with or an accountant is another way of passive, a way of residual income. Because if I refer business to an accountant, eventually it comes back to me. It's not the same residual as, say, a multi-level marketing platform, but it is in the sense that I'm planting seeds that I know are going to germinate down the road for me. So I try to look at a business more holistically and say, don't just focus on the one deal you get. How can you also use the other deals you're not investing in and help them build your business?
Interesting. So you're out there doing your marketing. There are probably leads and opportunities. They're not good for you, but they're probably good for somebody else. Is that what you're saying?
And vice versa. And not only that, I would say that most of us talk to people who won't do anything with us now, who would in 2 or 3 or 4 years. And so I think it's important for real estate agents. We've been classically trained to mail out something regularly or call regularly or email regularly. I think that investors think they'll need to do that. But if you're an investor talking to homeowners, you really should keep everyone you ever meet in your database and reach out to them 90 days later, 6 months later, a year later. The long tail of this business, we talk about residual. The one residual most people miss is the long tail of the business they're in already. That's the easiest business. I can devise 3 or 4 other streams of income, but if I just keep in touch with my contacts and I get one deal a year from somebody I talked to 3 years ago, every year, that's pure profit once a year.
Right. I like that. Yeah, our friend Casey Eberhardt says that it's always easier to do business with somebody who already knows, likes, and trusts you instead of always trying to strike up new conversations and new relationships.
Dig deeper in that. People ask me all the time, well, where can I, real estate agents ask me, where can I get my first probate deal? And when I find out they're full-time, they're in real estate, they do 5, 10 deals a year, I say to them, your first probate deal is in your database, but they listed with somebody else because they don't know that you know probate. And your next probate deal is probably going to go to somebody else if you don't get on with learning about it and then reaching out to your client database.
Interesting. Very good. Well, you said that things are the best time to make money is during a transition. What do you think the niches are that are going to be up and coming and most prominent in the next, say, the next transition period that we're going into?
Well, you tell me what the next transition looks like and when it is, and I can answer that more clearly. But I'll say that in general, deals that are more complicated or are different than the normal deal is always where the money is. Why do I do probate? Because it's complicated. Most people are scared off of it. I just took the time to learn it. So I love when I involved with the PTRE group, for example, Prosperity Through Real Estate, or other real estate investments. I love when I hear about programs like you talk about notes. Most people don't know how to structure those deals.
That's right.
And most people don't know how to leverage one into multiple business the way you do. And as a result, can't do it as effectively as you can. And I really think that that's an example of, in transitions, having more tools in your toolbox. When sales get tougher, you're going to dig a little deeper and say, well, how can I put this deal together? In a hot market, I'll just drop that deal and go on to the next one. But in a slower market, if I can put that deal in life support, what can I do? Oh, you can carry back money. Oh, you like to carry back money, or you have a tax problem. Let's talk about how to solve those two together. So I think I love creative financing. I love, as a result, notes from reluctant sellers who carry back money. I think it's a great niche. I've also seen land brokering. You and I have a couple of friends that have done that. I think I looked at that when I was branding the business, and I think that perhaps if I start again, I would look at that, because land used to be so hard to sell in other markets. And with the internet, like everything else, becoming a national market, it's getting easier and easier to put buyers and sellers together. And if you're in the middle, you're gonna make some money at that. So I really like that business as well.
Interesting. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I think that knowing how the money works and having multiple ways to make money by lending, by understanding debt, by either getting your money upfront or getting your money over time, understanding the time value of money, those are all very important skills that a lot of investors overlook.
I agree. Yeah, I do probate real estate, but I also sometimes estates don't yet have authority to borrow money. So I can advance the heirs some money, maybe to get an attorney or to avoid foreclosure or to fix a property up. When they have the authority to borrow money, I have lenders who will lend money to estates, which is hard to do. So I have multiple different streams of income within my business, and to me those are more feeders to the ultimate business. But if I make some money on the side on that, I can put that back in my marketing and build my primary business.
Right. I like the idea that occurs to me is that if you miss a deal because you run against a problem that you don't understand, well, that's just business. But if you run into it a second time and you haven't figured out how to make money on that, then shame on you.
Right. And I think also not just make money up, but you haven't helped your customer. I think that
exactly.
At the end of the day, the money we make is a reflection of the value we create for our customers. And so if we find a way to make money, help our customers, then we'll get a fee somehow in that process.
Very good. Very good. Well, is there a secret to success in the business of real estate?
There is a secret. Can I share it with you?
Sure.
The secret is there's no secret. I've been in this business for 36 years. The people who I see are overnight successes are inevitably people who worked undercover for a long period of time, and then all of a sudden we notice them as being new successes in our lives.
Yeah, an overnight success, right?
But by the most successful people I've seen in real estate as investors, lenders, agents, salespeople, wholesalers, for one thing, they tend to do the same thing over a period of time. And part of that is they're capturing the long tail by being in the same place. I think we all underestimate the cost of transition geographically or career-wise. And so if you can keep that same business, that's why I've kept so many email addresses and phone numbers. I'm no longer full-time in the loan business, but I have people call me with referrals all the time. I can feed those leads to my tribe, and that tribe helps me with my real estate business today. So I definitely think it's important to, the secret is a commitment to a long-term business and putting the effort in daily.
That's awesome. Well, Bill, it's been great talking to you.
Thanks.
What is one thing that if you were going to leave, the last thing that you could leave with our viewers, what is the one thing that you'd like to kind of drop on them to add value to their world today?
You know, we all get into real estate because we want to make money at some level, whether it's provide for families or ourselves or our communities. And we can get focused on the money. And when we focus on the money, business gets very hard. But we remember that we really, the goal of the business is to help our customers. The saying, when I get off track or I struggle, I go back to my first coach, who was Zig Ziglar, who, blessed memory. And he used to say that you can have anything you want in life if you help enough other people get what they want.
Right.
And so if you can help people get what they want, you'll make money in real estate and investing more than you'll ever imagine for however long you need it.
That's awesome. Well, Bill, what's the best way for people to get a hold of you?
Look, call me directly. My number is 310-210-0008, 310-210-0008, or you can email me, Bill at thelaprobateexpert.com. It's THE, PROBATE, expert, EXPERT.com. Bill at the laprobateexpert.com.
That's awesome. Well, listen, go ahead, and I didn't write that down, and maybe some of our viewers didn't, so go ahead and just shoot that to me after this call ends, and I'll go ahead and post it in the comments below. And Bill, this has just been awesome. I think we should maybe take a deep dive, do this again sometime, and take a deep dive into one of your businesses and really show people how they can get started.
I would love to, anytime.
Awesome.
You know that,
Thanks,
Gary,
Bill.
we talk all the time. We see each other, I think, once or twice a week, and if we don't, something's wrong. So I'm always
That's
available
right.
for you.
Well, that's it, folks. Listen, thank you so much for watching. And I want to just remember, this is Gary Payroll, AKA Professor Cashflow. And I just want to remind you that it's never too early or too late to retire wealthy. Thanks for watching, and go ahead, and if this is YouTube, go ahead and click the subscribe button on my channel, and just give us a comment and tell us that you love it. Down below, up wherever. Take care. Bye-bye now.